Hey everyone! Ever thought about building your very own AI? Well, you are in exactly the right spot. We're about to jump into a super quick guide to Python, which is pretty much the most important language for all things AI and data science. So let's dive in. All right, so I've got to ask you straight up. You want to build your own custom AI tools, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, those low-code platforms are cool and all, but if you're looking to create something that's truly unique, something really powerful, well, learning Python is non-negotiable. Let's look at how to get you there. Python is the engine behind countless AI projects, from tiny little scripts to these massive, mind-bending deep learning models. It's the foundation of the house, the common language everyone in the field speaks. And once you get the basics down, man, it just unlocks this huge world of possibilities. Okay, I get it. The idea of coding can feel a little daunting, right? But here's the thing, and I really mean this. Learning to code has never, ever been easier than it is right now. And that's all thanks to a couple of, let's call them sidekicks, that basically every developer on the planet relies on. Think about it, trying to learn this stuff all by yourself. It can be a real grind. Slow, frustrating, yeah. But with these sidekicks, it's a whole new ballgame. First, you've got Google. This is basically the wisdom of every developer who has ever lived, all in one place. You get an error message, I guarantee you someone on a site like Stack Overflow has already solved it. And then you have ChatGPT. This thing is like the most patient tutor you could ever ask for. You can ask it the silliest, most basic questions, and it will never judge you. It'll just break it down step by step. All right, so you've got your support crew ready. Let's get to the good stuff. We're going to start with the absolute basics, the Lego bricks of any Python program: data and the variables that store it. First up, strings. Super simple. A string is just text. Any sequence of characters. You can use double quotes, you can use single quotes. Python doesn't care. This is how you're going to handle any kind of words or sentences in your code. Next, we've got numbers. Python keeps it pretty simple here. You've got two main types: integers, whole numbers, like 42, and floats, which are just numbers with a decimal point, like 3.14. Pretty much any math you do is going to use one of these two. Okay, now for lists. A list is just what it sounds like, a collection of items, in a specific order. But here's the really cool part. You can mix and match whatever you want in there. You can throw in a string, another string, a number, all in the same list. That kind of flexibility is a huge deal, especially when you're working with data. And now for something that is a total game changer, the dictionary. Okay, so instead of just a simple list of items, a dictionary stores stuff in pairs. You have a key, like the word name, and then its value, like Shaw. This is awesome for organizing information. Think about it. Instead of having to remember that someone's age is, the third item in a list, you can just ask the dictionary, hey, what's the age? It makes so much more sense. So you've got all this data: strings, numbers, lists, dictionaries. How do you keep track of it all? That's where variables come in. The best way to think of a variable is just a labeled box. You can put your data inside the box, slap a label on it, and from then on, you just use the label. You don't have to type out that long piece of data every time. It keeps your code so much cleaner and easier to read. Okay, so we've got our building materials, all our data types. Now we need the blueprints, the instructions. This is where we talk about logic and functions. This is how you get your code to actually, do something. So the two big ideas here are loops and conditions. A loop is all about repetition. You want to do the same thing over and over again, like for every single item in a list, you use a loop. And a condition, that's about making decisions. You use an if statement to say, hey, if this thing is true, do this. Otherwise, do something else. It's how your code gets smart. Let's make this real with an example. Say we have a bunch of users, and we want to find out how many of them are interested in bread. Why not? So first, we'd make our list of users. Then we'd create a little counter variable and set it to 0. Now here comes the loop. We go through that list one user at a time. And for each person, we use a condition. If the word bread is in their interests, we add 1 to our counter. We just keep doing that for everyone. And at the very end, we just print the final number. See? We just used a loop and a condition together to answer a real question. Last but not least, let's talk functions. A function is basically a reusable recipe for your code. It's a chunk of code you give a name to, so you can run it whenever you want without typing it all out again. We've actually already seen a built-in function, print. But the real magic happens when you start writing your own, creating little shortcuts for tasks you do all the time. It keeps things so much more organized. All right, We have covered a ton of ground. We've got our data, our variables, our loops, our conditions, and our functions. We've got all the pieces. Now for the fun part, the payoff. Let's put it all together and build a real, actually useful AI tool. So, what are we building? Something simple, but super powerful. We're going to write a Python script that can grab a research paper, a PDF, and then use AI to automatically create a summary and pull out all the main keywords. Pretty cool, right? So how does it all work? Well, it actually comes back to one of our first building blocks, a string. We use this special kind of string called a formatted string, which is basically just a template. We write out our instructions for the AI, like, hey, summarize this paper and give me the keywords, but we leave a blank spot. Then our Python code takes the text from the PDF and plugs it right into that blank spot. We send that whole thing off to the AI. That's really it. And voila, here's the result. We ran our script on that super famous attention is all you need paper, and this is what the AI gave us back. A perfect, short summary and a spot-on list of keywords. I mean, think about that. We just built a mini research assistant with just a handful of Python concepts. That is what happens when you combine these simple building blocks with the power of AI. Okay, so you've seen the basics and you've seen what's possible. Now, your journey as a developer begins. And it really is a journey, one where you're always learning and always creating. So, to get you started on the right foot, here are 3 really important tips. First, use your sidekicks. Seriously, Google and ChatGPT are your best friends. No developer, no one, codes without them. Second, you have to build that figure-it-out mindset. You're gonna get stuck. It happens to everyone. The trick is to change I don't know to I don't know yet. And finally, hack the code. Take what you've seen here, take other examples you find online, and just start messing with them. Change things, see what breaks, and try to build your own stuff. It is by far the best way to learn. So there you have it. You have the fundamental building blocks. You've seen how to connect them to incredibly powerful AI. The only real question left is, what are you going to build first?